Alright, so I gotta be honest here, the current state of the Boruto series right now is pretty dry. With the anime currently ongoing, episodes are dropping weekly with one-off anime canon episodes with a new arc featuring Himawari and Kawaki at the academy. Whereas with the Boruto manga, the manga itself has been on break for a month in July with Code getting humiliated in Boruto chapter 71. With that being said, both the Boruto anime and the Boruto manga as a whole has been moving really slow, and I want to voice my opinion on the series right now. As a Boruto content creator, I do read the manga and watch the anime on a pretty consistent basis, and for the past 2 years uploading on YouTube, I've had a really fun time talking about the series. Being a fan of Boruto, there has been plenty of ups and downs when talking about this series as a whole, whether it's about the anime or the manga. 2020 was an amazing year for the manga with the Kawaki arc wrapping up and the anime getting ready to introduce Kawaki and the Kara organization. 2021 was Boruto's best year for its anime, with Kawaki's amazing introduction and the crazy amount of fights that happened that year, with the Boruto manga heading into the Code arc. In the year of 2022, however, Boruto just hasn't been on the same level compared to its 2 previous years when reviewing this series. The manga, while it had some insane moments such as Borushiki versus Kawashiki and Boruto dying, in my opinion, it's just not on the same enjoyment that I had when reading the Kawaki arc when it was running monthly. For the anime, it's definitely been rough for the first 6 months or so, especially with the Funato clan arc. I was planning to review it once I finished binging the arc, but once I did, I just didn't want to. The arc as a whole was the longest running anime canon arc in Boruto, and while there were some good moments about the arc, such as the development of Team 7's characters as a whole, there were definitely plenty of rough moments in the Funato arc that made me question, should I even be watching this arc to begin with? The extremely slow pacing, the unbearable and boring villain group of the Funato clan, the questionable and very inconsistent animation that was shown week to week, and of course, this. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this arc when it wrapped up, and with the next big arc being Himawari and Kawaki entering the academy, hopefully things turn out to be better, because the Funato arc as a whole was rough to watch, even on a binge. With the news of the Code arc starting next year, the Boruto anime definitely needs to start picking things up within its plot, because compared to its past couple of years in the anime, Boruto 2022 has been pretty rough, to the point where I think it even competes with 2019 of Boruto's anime when it comes to having a down year. A weekly anime is going to have its ups and downs, of course, and while it does happen, I just don't have the same excitement to watch the anime compared to its past years, especially in 2020 and 2021. All in all, I'm just hoping the anime improves sooner than later, because there's plenty of hype that is upcoming, especially when it comes to what's happening in the manga. The problem here is that Boruto is a weekly anime, so of course not every episode is going to have the super high sexy quality animation that we know it can produce. And since it is a weekly anime, Boruto as a series can't just adapt everything from the manga one-to-one, because the anime would just run out of content to adapt pretty damn quickly. The anime is weekly and the manga is monthly, so it's understandable why the anime drops filler arcs or anime canon arcs to pass time. And while they can be beneficial toward the main plot, I feel like a good amount of the content that we've gotten this year just hasn't been up to the standard that we were getting in the past couple of years. Forget about Boruto 2021 with its great manga adaptation, but just in 2020 with the anime canon arcs that bridged into the manga arcs, such as the prison arc and the Kara activation arc. Anime original content like that is what gets fans excited, especially when it comes to transitioning into manga content. And with the Code arc starting early next year, I'm just hoping the anime will match that same energy like they had in previous years, with additional anime original arcs that connected very well within the manga. This year hasn't been the best, but I'm just hoping the anime begins to improve with its original content for now that we started this Himawari/Kawaki Academy arc, and eventually a Code activation arc and the manga content itself. Now let's talk about the manga, man. So with the Boruto manga taking a month off in July, we left off with Code getting absolutely bodied by Damon after just getting his limiters removed by Amato. And we started this year in the manga hitting on all cylinders, with Kawaki awakening his karma again and fighting Borushiki to begin January. Then the very next month we see Boruto get killed and then resurrected by Momoshiki, and the following chapters happen with the Delta being the cyborg that Amato built, Shikamaru being a genius as per usual, Ada's love for Kawaki, and Code getting destroyed for the nth time in this arc despite reaching a new power level. So yeah, the Boruto manga has been a lot more exciting compared to the anime this year. The manga is what delivered a lot of the hype for the series this year, especially with the fight between Kawaki and Borushiki, and with the fandom exploding over Kawaki killing Boruto in chapter 66, where Kawaki has received tons of hate from the fandom for doing so. The manga this year has delivered a good amount of excitement, especially for Boruto and Kawaki's character after both Naruto and Sasuke were nerfed during the end of the Kawaki arc. But with the Code arc ongoing, there needs to be more than just Boruto, Kawaki, and also Momoshiki backpacking the excitement and interest in the Code arc so far. The villains that have been introduced in the current manga arc have have some interest among fans, but compared to prior villains such as Jigen and Momoshiki, so far Code, Ada, and Damon don't match that same energy and love that these past villains have received. With these characters being introduced in the past year and a half, despite them making significant power moves in this arc, such as Code invading the Leaf, pushing Boruto and Kawaki to new levels, and getting his limiters removed, Code himself hasn't proved to be this big main threat that fans thought he was going to be. Ada and Damon initially joined forces with Code to fulfill their goals, but failed miserably in the end, even though we got some amazing moments when Code went to the village. The problem here is that Code got the short end of the stick, and I'm talking about Code getting absolutely nothing. After beating a base Kawaki and a Karma Boruto, which was the expectation for Code to do so because he is the strongest inner member besides Jigen, Code just gets bullied repeatedly from then on. First the True Essence Boruto, then Boroshiki, then Kawaki once he awakens his karma, and then Damon stomps him out even after getting his limiters removed. And I've mentioned it many times before in past videos about Code being purposely written this way, sort of like Code was destined to have this loser mentality, but even then I feel like the execution of it is a bit rushed. Let me explain. Code getting beat up by Boruto, Kawaki, and Momoshiki was because of Code's cockiness and thinking that he can exact revenge even though he was completely out of their league in terms of power, and that's fine considering that Code was doing plenty of damage to them after being introduced as the main villain. But the biggest problem I have with this is right after getting his limiters removed. After getting 3 straight ass whoopings, Code got his limiters removed, which was restricting his full power. But the very next chapter, after becoming another rendition of Gojo, Code just gets obliterated despite obtaining his true power. My biggest problem with this is that there was nothing different shown between a limiter Code and a limitless Code, excluding his appearance of course. His fighting style was exactly the same, no new abilities were shown, and ultimately it didn't feel like Code got more powerful, even though we know from a narrative basis that Code has obtained his quote-unquote true power. Kishimoto fails to show just how strong Code is, despite the story pressing that Code with his limiters removed would be this very powerful character that no one could defeat. And personally, I don't have a problem with Damon beating up Code, but it's the fact that Code didn't show anything different compared to his weaker version, and we as an audience just have to endure another ass beating for Code and say it is what it is, which is what makes it so frustrating to support Code. Bro didn't even put up a fight, he just got rolled around like a horse. It's pretty clear that Kishimoto is taking an alternative route with Code's character by portraying this loser destined fate for him, but at the same time I feel like the execution can be a lot better, especially with the fact that we don't know much about Code to begin with. Sure, we know that he worships Ishiki and wants to exact revenge for his killers, but we don't understand the connection of the relationship between Code and Ishiki to begin with, since it hasn't even been shown yet. It's obvious that it parallels the relationship with Naruto and Kawaki, but the difference is that we don't know why Code worships Ishiki to begin with. We know why Kawaki does since it's been shown on screen, but it's just hard to understand why Code is going so hard for Ishiki's death when we haven't seen anything between them prior in the manga. But I definitely do expect that we will get some sort of backstory with Code and why he feels that way for Ishiki. Now that he's been basically pushed to the backseat in this arc, with Ada and Damon becoming the main focus, the sibling villains have not been explored too much at this point in the story. While both of them have made some sort of impact in this arc, such as Ada's enchantment ability and Damon beating up Code, there's still a lot to learn about these two, especially why they were created in the first place. I just feel like these three haven't set a tone compared to the likes of Momoshiki and Ishiki did earlier in the story. Momo captured Naruto during the Chunin exams, which changed the relationship between Boruto and Naruto, on top of giving Boruto the Karma Seal. Even post-death, every time Momoshiki awakens through Boruto's body, the chaos and threat that he brings has me at the edge of my seat. When it comes to Ishiki/Jigen, he literally struck fear in Kawaki every time Kawaki thought about him and put his foot down as the strongest villain we have seen thus far, and as well as with the fact that he had very menacing dialogue and the ability to have a presence right away. The way he established the tone, the way he was able to demand the screen time and the menace that he had is what made these villains so entertaining to watch on screen, especially when reading it in the manga, as well as the fact that Momoshiki and Ishiki have directly impacted Boruto and Kawaki's lives, especially when it comes to their karma. And while the cyborg story has been ongoing for about a year and a half, the prior villains in the manga have really set a tone and impacted the main cast pretty damn quickly. Now I do expect Ada, Damon, and Code to improve as villains while the arc progresses, as Kishimoto is taking a different approach with these characters by giving a bit of depth for all of them. But compared to past villains, I'm just not too excited to read about Code, Ada, and Damon right now. They just feel kind of bland to me outside of just being very powerful. I hope I'm wrong with this and my take on these villains ages like milk, because I really want to see the villain cast of this arc succeed. But if I'm being honest here, the villains in this arc doesn't make me excited to read about them compared to the good guys like Boruto and Kawaki. Hell, I would even say that the lower ranked villains like Deepa and Ao were much more entertaining than the cyborgs, despite Deepa being shown on screen for only 18 episodes and Ao having 6 chapters that were focused on him. Kishimoto has been taking his time when it comes to writing these villains, and I just really want want to see these three impact the story even more compared to past villains such as Momoshiki and Ishiki. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. How do you feel about the current state of the Boruto series right now? This past month has been rough to get through. It's kind of hard to just talk about Boruto right now considering that both the anime and manga are moving at a very slow pace. The manga is monthly, so it's kind of hard to just make a lot of videos on the manga itself, and especially with the fact that it went on break. It's kind of hard to find that motivation, especially with the anime as well. The anime was really slow to start off the year, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the Funato clan arc. I am pretty excited though for this academy arc with Kawaki and Himawari. It seems like there's gonna be some cool stuff that's gonna happen there. However, I do want to say is that I'm hoping the Boruto series as a whole starts to turn up a little bit. It's kind of dry right now, and it happens, you know. Every anime and manga has their ups and downs. Right now Boruto is in a slow period, and I'm not saying the content we're getting is bad by any means. However, it's just hard to get through. The manga is monthly and the anime is weekly. With them dropping anime original stuff, it's hard to stay intact with Boruto considering what we were getting in the past couple of years. I do expect Boruto as a series, especially both mediums of anime and manga, and I'm really hoping they deliver with Code, because so far in this arc he's just been getting L after L after L, and I get it, he's purposely written that way, but I'm just hoping he gets that shine that he deserves because I'm rooting for the guy, man. So let me know what you think about all that in the comment section below. So if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell as well, and have a good day. Peace.